Are we all sorted? Are we all alive? Oh my gosh, hang on, I have to wait to see if it works. Still not popping up. Why? Hang on. Oh, wait. Yeah, there we go. Now we're moving. Alright, did everything update correctly? Is everything working? Let's find out. Yippee! We should be good. Alright, gaming! Let me go ahead and do something very quickly. Groovy, groovy, groovy. We groovin'. Tora, hello, welcome in. Luna, hello, welcome in. Why no webcam? Because my, I've had to change my computer layout right now. Webcam does not look good or work very good. So, for now, we're just gonna have to work with this little guy. I'm gonna see if I can get my webcam sorted out for later runs. But, my little guy for now. Howdy! Popping in to say hi at work. Oh, I appreciate that, buddy. I hope work's going alright. Hope work's doing good. Light, hello, welcome in. Chat, everyone, welcome in to the Piece of Heart charity marathon event of 2024, the second one. I'm really excited. I'm really glad to be here again. I can't wait to be a part of all the different events that I'm in this year. How am I? I'm okay. I'm a little bit stressed. I'm a little bit worried about this run. Won't lie. I did a really good run today. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do that again. So yeah, I'm feeling spicy. But yeah, new dress, hell yeah, like, that's awesome. Yeah. So, no, I'm doing good. I'm, very keen to get this going. This run's going to be a little bit messy. I probably won't be able to read chat too terribly much in the run, because this is a relatively short run and there's a lot going on for most of it. So I'm going to try and do my best to explain everything that's happening as it goes. So if you're in here and you're watching, I'm sorry that if I miss your chats, but yeah, it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be fun. What flavor tea should I make? Give me some options and I'll chuck them out to you. For now, I'm gonna go ahead and I hope you don't mind the low opacity bottom screen. I want people to be able to see the top screen in full, but also the bottom screen is quite important. Vanilla, citrus, hibiscus, black, or caramel. I'm gonna say hibiscus. That's my answer. We're gonna go ahead and name our character. We're gonna call it Child's Play, because that's the charity. But this is the best I can do. Child's Play. Child's Play. Yippee! I need to walk, you're gonna hurt yourself. I will not. I will not. Alright. Before I get started, just want to take a quick second to say that this event, as I've mentioned, is in support of charity. The Piece of Heart Marathon is working with Child's Play, a charity that aims to create better circumstances for kids in hospital by providing things like electronics, games, toys, things to sway a children into having a more positive experience as opposed to the very sterile and somewhat hostile experience that a child has living in a hospital. So yeah, it's a wonderful charity. If you're willing and keen to, please consider donate. The donation command seems to be broken. Luna, do you have the direct link for donations that I can just copy paste when needed? Brilliant, thank you. Yeah, so if you're willing and able, if you aren't, you do not have to feel expected to. But yeah, I'm really excited to get this kicked off. I think I'm gonna go ahead and start now, so get the timer ready. 3, 2, oh, that was a donation thing. I don't know why my alert didn't seem to pop up. Because like the audio for the alert worked, but the alert itself didn't seem to. That's quite strange. Oh no! It's alright, I'll figure that out later. So the QR works? It should do, yes. It was you. Oh, for your, was it 15 minutes? Thank you for the 19 minutes to slide puzzle, $1 for a Swift sale. Let's go. Well, appreciations for the donation. Yippee! Twitch fired this guy. It never has his alert sorted out. No, this is different. This is different. It's not my fault. Alright, we're gonna get started. We're gonna get started in this run. I am hoping to finish this run a little bit early because then I have some time to showcase some funny little glitch things. And we're gonna see how I do. I'm gonna donate for the time difference. That's awesome. Good luck. Thank you very, very much. Alright, 3, 2, 1, gaming. Now, this speedrun is an interesting one. I will preface the whole thing by saying I'm not the best at the speedrun, but I think it's a very, very cool run to watch. So if you want to see how it looks roughly, this is a good place. But if you want to see better runs, there are so many other really, really impressive runs out there that I would absolutely recommend checking out at one point. This run is quite short. There is a lot of cutscenes and a lot of dialogue for the first half of it, so it's a pretty slow run to get started, but I think it has some really, really cool, amazing moments. Now, what is it that I wanted to say? There's so much that I wanted to say. One of the first things about this run is that a lot of it is movement optimization, which I'm not great at, and then there's some really cool glitches and tricks that are recurrent through the run, some easy, some not so easy. It's a neat run, to say the least, but yes, there's a lot of dialogue. One of the most simple time saves is text boxes. Ocarina of Time 3D specifically, its text box skipping is weird, so you can't skip text boxes outright. There is a specific timing to press, I believe it is the B button, on a new text box in order to make the text box scroll quickly. You'll see right now, I'm not getting any of the quick text boxes to go through, but you'll notice, if you ever notice that the text skips straight from, like it fully completes itself immediately, that's an instance of when I've successfully got a text box skip. Sometimes I get a lot, sometimes I get none, so it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But yeah. That's one of the, like, because there's so much text in this game, it's something that comes up quite a bit. Also, I know Ganon showed us his hand, kinda ew. But yeah. Now, the whole point of this run is, it's quite interesting, it's very different. The goal of this run is to ultimately get two things. It is to get the magic meter, and it is to get Ferora's Wind. Now, that'll become apparent later. Is this the point of view of Navi? It is. Yeah, the reason for that will be apparent later. But now just know, that's what we want. That's what we're looking for. So we have to, as quick as possible, with getting as few items and such as possible, get those two things. That is our main goal for the run. The first thing we're going to do is, obviously, doing all of Kokiri Forest and the Deku Tree. That would take a bunch of time. That'd be slow. That'd be cringe. So our first goal is get out of the forest, basically. So we're going to start by doing that. The only thing we need to get out of this forest, typically you need the sword, the Deku Shield, and to go complete the Great Deku Tree dungeon. We don't need that. We just need the sword. That is all we're after. See how this goes. So yeah, we're going to get to the sword as fast as we can. And we're going to use the sword. Oh god. Good start. Yeah, we're going to use the sword. Alright, cool. There we go. I'm going to use the sword to kind of clip out, so to speak. There's a guy guarding the exit. And normally you can't get past him. But we're cool, so we absolutely can get past him. You'll also see that just after I grab the sword, I'm gonna stop to grab some rupees. I made my noodles too spicy. I'm fighting for my life right now. That's crazy. Yeah, you'll notice that I stopped by to get some rupees. That's because we do need some rupees for later in the run. A typical speedrun of this route does not need rupees because it does different tricks to what I do. However, for a marathon setting, and also because I don't really know them, I will not be doing those tricks. So I have instead opted to get rupees so I can get an item later that will make the alternatives that I do, well, actually just possible at all, in any capacity. Alright, we're jumping down here. So what I'm about to do is something called a triple slash clip. This one is not easy, and there's no real lineup that you can do. So we're gonna see how I'll go with this, but the idea is that Link has an attack called a triple slash. Ooh, that's definitely not it. Which is where he swings his sword 3 times horizontally, and the third swing will be a larger swing coming from the opposite end that the other ones were. A fun little quirk about this attack though is that Link moves forward quite a lot with those swings, and so to account for this, if you put your sword away after the third swing, the game tries to put Link back to where he was, and it does that by pushing him backwards a bunch. So I'm just going to actually showcase that really quickly. Nope, not how I want to showcase that. So if you watch this, Link does a huge step backwards. Now we're abusing that step backwards in a way that the game actually ends up pushing us back too far, as you can see here. Actually, you know what, I'm going to do something even more fun. And it lets us basically push Link backwards through invisible walls, and yeah, that can lead to some very good skips, very good clips. I got this actually way quicker than I usually do, which is surprising. But yeah, so the idea is that if you can get Link in a corner where not only he can pass through that corner with that back step that he gets, but also the forwards movement he gets from swinging the sword is limited because he's either stuck in that corner or he's hitting walls. It means that the back step gets you so much further back than it expects to, and that passes Link through walls, and it's pretty neat. A fun little thing that I did there as well is that forest guy, the Kokiri who guards the exit of the forest, on one side of the log, he will interact with the log such that he jumps up it, doesn't really phase through at all. The other side of the log doesn't have any collision for him for some reason. So if you move slowly enough, he doesn't have enough time to skip up to the existing collision and instead passes through the lack of it and falls to the floor and voids out. So he's gone. He's just straight up gone. But yeah, now that triple slash clip that we just did, that is not the only time we see it. I think that is probably one of the harder instances of it. Not the hardest, there is a much harder one later, but there's also 2 much easier ones later. So that is not the only time you will be seeing me do that kind of setup. Yeah, I banished him to the back rooms. Yes, I'm absolutely satisfied with him. He's trying to slow me down. I can't speedrun with him around. But yeah, so cool. Now that we're out of the forest, we have our current goal, which is go to the Hyrule Market Town. Oh, this is a really bad angle. That's fine, I'll adjust later. The reason we're going to Hyrule Market Town is, realistically, we need to advance the plot a little bit, but more importantly, that is how we get Zelda's Lullaby, which is critical to getting Farora's Wind and Magic, and it is also how we get access to certain areas which we do need to enter. As I said, I'm gathering some rupees, so I'm going to go up here to get 20 more. It just simplifies things later down the line. And now we are going to start the slowest and arguably most boring part of the run. We just need to do everything pretty much vanilla. Pretty much very, very vanilla. There's only one thing we do slightly different here. Fun thing, you're going to listen out for this real quick. But when we go talk to... What we have to do here is we have to get Malon to spawn, because we need to get the Kaku egg from her, so that we can go wake up Talon and get into the guards barracks. Oh no, I talked to the owl again. No! But yeah, so in order to get Malon to appear to give us the egg, we have to get caught by a guard once. Fun thing about that is that the guards spawn text boxes that don't fade if you press A, but they will still register an A input as doing something. So if you listen, every time I pressed A there, it still made the text advancement sound effect, which is just a fun little quirk. I like pointing that out. But yeah, now we've got Malon, and we can talk to her and get the cuckoo egg from her. And now, basically, we have until morning before this hatches, which means we have until morning to get to Malon. This part of the run, there is a way to get around doing what I'm doing. It avoids not only needing to get the egg at all, which means you don't have to get caught, but it also avoids the need to wait entirely. It is unfortunately difficult, and it is not something that I have practiced. Oh, that's a bad angle. So I won't be doing it here. But if you ever watch a true any percent run of this game, you will... I pressed the wrong button entirely. You will see what it is. It's pretty neat. It's pretty cool. It is a shame I'm not quite good enough to do it, but that's alright. We get to see some other interesting strategies. Imagine if I was sentient, not just a boring old rock. I'm not a boring old rock. I'm a cool little rock. Look at me. Wow. He's so cool. As I said before, I've just had a very sudden change in circumstances. So my webcam's, not circumstances in like living circumstances, just like desk setup, which means my webcam is unfortunately not positioned for appealing like capture right now. So for now, my PNG tuber is going to stand in. So I hope you do not mind. But yeah, we're doing something here where you normally need to push both of these boxes down to get across. However, if you push this one just over the lip of the edge and jump slash, it's really easy to just make it here. Love the little PNG tuber? Yeah. I'm glad you do. So this part sucks. It just sucks. This part's really just bad. The guards barracks is the worst part of this run for a few reasons. The biggest being, it is completely RNG. So all of the guards have a few things tied to RNG. The speed that they move at, the frequency and speed with which they will turn their head, and how many times they stop on their way, on their paths. If you get unlucky, and any of these guards decides to move at the wrong speed, turn their head at a poor time, like that, or stop in a bad place, it's so easy to get caught, and that unfortunately wastes so much time. So now that I've been caught twice, I'm gonna play it a little bit safer, just because I've already lost time. I don't want to screw up too much more. But it is such an unfortunate part of this run. That was even really close to getting caught there. So some of these guards, if they see you through a wall, they will actually walk through the wall to get you. Turn your head. No, he didn't turn his head, he started moving. See how he was moving that time? When last time, he wasn't even close to moving. He had just arrived there. It's because this time, he moved much faster and stopped much less. Which is such a shame. But that's okay. This is realistically the only part of the run with RNG, with this much phasing out. So once we get through this, we're sitting pretty, for the most part. Turn your head. No, okay, yeah. Sometimes when he turns his head there, he won't see Link. I was kind of hoping that would happen, but it didn't. This is actually the most I've been caught in this section in the time I've spent practicing recently, so that's always nice. So we're gonna take it nice and slow now. Skip past this guy because he's not a problem. This next guy, I should be fine. Yeah. This guy's always pretty much guaranteed fine. But we are gonna wait for this guy. So here's the thing, he's moving really slowly, but he didn't stop in the middle. He can do that. If he had moved slowly and stopped in the middle, and that back guy had gone too quickly, it was very possible that I get caught here. However, this has set us up pretty good to just basically go all the way through here. Gotta wait for this guard. But otherwise, we're chilling. And we're about to arrive at, yeah, the true dip in this run. Because this next section is about 3 minutes of dialogue and cutscenes. Oh, bad angle backwalk, that's fine. As we go through the Zelda introduction stuff. So I am going to take this chance to chat a little bit about what is coming up in this run, because there's a lot that happens very quickly, and it is very difficult to explain. So, as I've mentioned, the goal of this run is to get Aurora's Wind and Magic. And as I said, the reasons for that will become apparent shortly. But for now, I'm going to explain the process that I'm going to take to get those things. Typically, to get those items, you need a few things. Most importantly is obviously Zelda's Lullaby, which we have to get here. But another thing is bombs. Typically, the path to magic is blocked by bombs. You usually go up Death Mountain. There's some rocks that are blocking the way. And there's also a exploitable wall blocking the entrance to the fairy fountain. So you need bombs there. And then lastly, to get to Ferora's Wind, you need access to Zora's Domain, which requires bombs typically. And then the entrance to Ferora's Wind Great Fairy also needs bombs. So basically, what I'm saying is you need bombs, right? Like, everything sounds like you need bombs. But getting bombs would be really slow, because getting bombs would require us to do 70% of Dodongo's Cavern. And that is slow and boring. That's cringe. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to skip the need for bombs entirely. There is a number of clips and bugs that we can perform that will not only get us up Death Mountain and through the Great Fairy Fountain barrier without bombs, but it'll also get us to Zora's Fountain and to the Ferora's Wind Fairy Fountain without bombs. So what you're going to see is the path to and setup of these tricks in the order of getting magic, getting Ferora's Wind, and then the end of the run. We do fight exactly one boss in this run, and interestingly enough, it is the first boss that we fight, so that's exciting. I hope you're all excited to see the intense battle against the Goma. But yeah, you might have noticed here, some of these text boxes I have got text box skips on. If you ever notice that, that's what it looks like if I get it successfully. The text box fully filling out immediately. I've been pretty bad with getting them in this run, it seems, so far. I've had a couple runs in the past week where I've been getting so many and it's felt really good, but this is not one of those runs, but that's okay. All right. I will also say, I forgot to mention this, the practice for this run has been very, very interesting because of a few things. One, last year when I did this run, I was doing it on a PS4 controller with different settings. This year I tried to change it so I could use my 3DS as a controller, but unfortunately that has simply too many complications for that to work. It was ideal initially because, that was text box, yep, because it gave access to the touchscreen, to the controls that I've been used to for most of my life, and a few other things, but unfortunately it simply has too many other issues that I could not account for. One of them being load times was really bad. So I've decided to forego using what's it called? The 3DS controller, and instead I'm using a PS4 controller again. So things are not perfect, but we're making them work. It's a little tea wasted. Oh, that's rough. I'm sorry that happened. Ooh, nope, that is not a good angle. That is also not a good angle. Cool. Probably took longer to set up an angle than it would have to just start rolling across, but that's fine. Getting a satisfying backwalk that gets you all the way from there, all the way up these stairs, is just an unmatched feeling. So I will always take a little bit of extra time to set up if I need to. A little interesting movement optimization that's coming up around here, actually. So there's a guard. You see the guy that was running up past the well there. He takes a path that really messes with where we're trying to head. If you were to do it well, that is. So he comes up these stairs, which is where I'm trying to go. But if you look at the action icon, the little A button, it stays on talk for a long time. His radius for commanding your action is huge for some reason. So going up those stairs is often quite dangerous because typically you want to roll because rolling is the fastest form of movement in the game. But like when the action icon will force you to talk to him, it's not great. It's not great. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That guy sucks. I'm gonna try something here. So earlier in the run along Hyrule Field, this was an option to make movement a little bit faster as well. However, doing it on Hyrule Field is very difficult, and I can barely even get it here, so we're gonna see if I can get this to work. It is a movement option that is simply faster than rolling or backwalking by quite a bit. Let's see if I can get it. Cool. We sort of did get it. I just have to maintain it. Nah, okay, I goofed it a little bit. But if you saw that, it's pretty cool. I have yet to get that consistently. That is what is called a hyperextended super slide, I believe. The logic behind it is that Link has a active state where if you hold the joystick really, really slightly, he will do this little sliding animation, or like little fidgeting animation. He'll walk around a little bit. Now, what's interesting about it is that if you L target while doing that, he will keep trying to move, but he won't actually move anyway. He won't turn, he won't move or anything. If you get hit while in that state, while holding L target, he for some reason maintains all of his momentum, and the momentum of being hit is quite fast. So it's yeah, it's pretty useful. Now, what I'm going to do here is, remember how I said that we need to get to the top of Death Mountain? We can't go up without bombs. We also technically can't go through the back route because that path only gets opened as an adult. Well, we're going to do something to get around that. We're going to be taking the path behind Darunia to get into Death Mountain. I'm going to be doing some funny movement into Darunia's room. That's all important. Don't worry, it'll come into play later. We're going to grab a Deku Stick because we want to also open the path to Lost Woods now. For reasons that you will see. Go ahead and grab that. I probably want a little bit more health, if I'm honest as well, but that's fine. But yeah, so we're gonna light these. We have to stay looking at them. If we look away and get too far away, the bombs will go off, but they won't activate. Like, they won't actually trigger anything. Now we're gonna do this a little bit more. So what we are doing is we are loading Darunia's room and unloading it over and over again in a very particular way. For some reason, the way that I've done it, loading and unloading that room, as you can see, for some reason, no one really knows why, it unloads specifically the statue behind Darunia such that it physically is there, but it's not physically there. Like, you don't bonk into it or anything. So that's a fun little, just thing. It's very, very convenient because it lets us, as I said, get to the top of Death Mountain without bombs. And if we can get into the Great Fairy Fountain without bombs, it means we don't need bombs at all. Which is great, which is awesome, because we can. What I'm going to do here is probably a harder trick of probably the hardest, hang on, give me a second. Probably the hardest triple slash clip. You know how I said we were going to do a few of those? This is the harder one. I'm going to explain it after I do it, so give me just a moment to focus here. This is rough. I almost had it immediately, which was pretty neat. Almost had it again there. This trick is very, very precise, both in timing and positioning. I might try and get a different angle for this. This should work, but I'm struggling a little bit. Hang on, give me a second. What I'm looking for is, you might have noticed occasionally, Link's sword, like, hit the sides of the wall that I'm trying to walk into. I need that to happen again. Like that. But I need to be ready for that to happen. Hang on. Oh, this is tough. I had this really good earlier today, so this is quite upsetting. It's fine. I got this. Almost. That was very, very close. Come on. My nose is really itchy as well, which is making this much more stressful. Come on, hit that line. So I'll try and explain what I'm trying to do here. The triple slash clip only works in very precise spots, because those spots exist such that Link is able to stop himself from moving forward enough. Hang on. Stop himself from moving forward enough that putting the sword away will clip him back through that wall. This spot is not one of those spots. However, if we time our triple slash while back walking so that we can maintain what is considered a triple slash in terms of timing for the game, but also back walk between our slashes, we can move Link back enough such that this corner will interrupt his attack and push him back enough that when putting the sword away, he gets pushed back through the wall. Like this. There we go. Got it. So, there's a few complications to that trick. As I said, the walls are typically not close enough for Link to normally be able to do a triple slash clip. So what we do is we back walk between each slash such that there is just enough backwards movement for the third slash, the triple slash, to... Oh, that's a big frame drop. Oh no, not during an event, really? No way. Alright, I'm gonna keep going. I think frames will be good soon, so apologies for the stream death for a moment there. But yeah, so the complications with that trick are, as I said, one, looks fine here. That is reassuring at least, because it's showing red on my end, which is very upsetting. I'm gonna keep explaining and assume that everything's fine. But yeah, the complications I've said, the backwards movement is required so that Link is close enough to those walls to push himself back with the putting the sword away movement. But also, we can't put our sword away with typical means. Normally, what we do is we put our sword away by pressing the A button, which, unfortunately in that situation, is not an option, because the wall behind us is actually a point of interest, so to speak. So pressing A would actually force Link to check that wall, which is not what we want right now. So, the alternative is that Link will actually put his sword away if you draw another item, like a Deku stick here. So not only do we have to time our slashes with back walking so that we get moved back far enough before putting our sword away, like I did there, but we have to press the Deku stick item to put the sword away at the perfect timing. So it's pretty rough. It's not an ideal set of circumstances, but that's what that is. Now, moving on. We have just saved quit because we want to be back in Kikiri Forest, and this is actually not quite, but getting close to the reason we opened the Lost Woods entrance from Goron City. But we want to be back here, and we want to grab our shield because we need that for the next trick we're going to do, and it's purely for the sake of alignment. Without this shield, alignment becomes not difficult, but just impossible. So we grab the shield. We'll look at that shortly. We head through the Lost Woods, because now, as I said, we need Farora's Wind. Farora's Wind is in the Zora's area. The two ways of getting there are either 1, with bombs through the main path, or 2, with the silver scale through the shortcut in the Lost Woods that exists right here. Now, normally, you can't get through here, as I said, without silver scale, and that is something you get in Zora's domain. However, we are going to combine the triple slash clip with another trick to do what is called a Navi dive. When Link interacts with Navi, it unloads certain objects, certain unrequired objects. Link isn't in the water right now, so one of the things that it unloads is the water. If we do a triple slash clip such that Link is on the ground when he starts interacting with Navi, it will unload the water, but as he talks to Navi, he puts the sword away, which will move him backwards into the water. The interaction that happens here is that first the game says, oh, Link's not in water, we're unloading it. Then the game says, Link put his sword away, he's moving back now. Link's new position, being at the top of the water, has no ground, because the water's not there, so it can't put him at the top of the water, so it moves him to the nearest ground vertically, which is right at the bottom of where the water is. Which lets us get to Zora's domain early. after finishing talking to Navi, the water reloads, and Link can just swim right into that little hole. It's great. What's coming up here is typically we need Ruto's letter to get to get King Zora to move out of the way. But doing yet another triple slash clip invalidates this need entirely, and this is by far the easiest one. Like, if you pick up your 3DS, if you have a copy of the game and you pick up your 3DS, I assure you, you could do that clip that I just did right there so easily. Yeah, that allows us to get behind King Zora without having to worry about Ruto's letter or anything at all, which gets us one step closer to Faurora's Wind. Now, the next step is by far the hardest, and because I do not have the appropriate hardware, the unfortunate reality is that this trick will be difficult, and it will be difficult, and because I don't have the appropriate hardware, I won't probably get it the first try. And to compensate for this, so that I'm not spending forever on it, I will be utilizing save states, so it's not technically a valid run if I don't get this first try, but I hope you at least understand why. Now, what I'm doing here is I'm doing some very specific movements to get Link aligned with what is called a seam. You'll see that Link jumped up in the air a little bit there and is floating. That is because there is a slight bit of topography there, invisible topography, that is basically vertically incredibly, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very steep, very steep. It's vertically very steep. If you can move Link slowly enough and precariously enough on this invisible seam, he will start, as you see here, climbing up it vertically. It's very precise and requires very specific inputs on the joystick. It's not easy on a controller that is not typical for this game, which is why PS4 controller is a bit of an issue. Because the sensitivity of movements are very precise. So you'll see me struggle with this a bit. But this is also only one part of the trick that we're trying to do here. The reason we do this is because we want to get Link on top of the entrance to the Great Fairy Fountain. So, oh, almost got it. I unfortunately moved too quickly, and so Link backwalked too far off of the invisible seam. But he had enough height there, where if I hadn't moved that quickly, I might have actually had it. Hang on, I'm going to focus real quick. Oh, again, that was pretty good. Yeah, the idea of what we're trying to do, though, is we're using this to get above the Great Fairy Fountain, because there is yet another set of position setups that we can do to semi-reliably put Link in a position where he can jump through the rock barrier that is blocking the Great Fairy Fountain. Hang on. A little bit more. Okay, that should be perfect. That's perfect. So Link is now high enough that we can change his camera angle to over here and side hop up here. We are now going to do a very precise setup. Hang on. 2 side hops. Another side hop. Adjust angle. Oh, awesome. My frames are dropping again. I'm just going to have to keep going. I roll, /1, and /2. Now this is where I'm going to, again, apologies, set a save state. Because if I fail it, it takes way too long to get sorted. But I'm going to give this one shot. Okay. Now, what I'm trying to do here is, if I hold an input in a very specific... Oh my god, second try. Okay, that's really good. If I hold the input in a very specific position and jump slash at the perfect timing, Link can pass through that wall. It's pretty neat. But yeah, I'm gonna try doing something real quick. Oh wow, okay, no, my internet is just straight up dying. If you are having issues with the display right now, let me know. I unfortunately can't change things, but I'm so sorry. I will keep this run going so that at least the VOD can be preserved. But by doing that, we get Aurora's Wind, which is great because that's the thing that we needed, right? We currently now have one last objective. We're gonna save quit here, and we are going to set up for what is called a death warp. Oh, not a death warp, sorry, a wrong warp. There's a few things I need to do for this setup. So, okay. I'm going to start by explaining why we get Aurora's Wind. Aurora's Wind is an item that lets Link warp. Warp being the key interaction here. Warping in this game works pretty interesting because essentially what it does is it tells the game, okay, currently Link's position is this, his desired position is this. Not only is it position, but it's location, it's cutscene triggers, it's all that kind of stuff. The game is saying, this is where we want to be, this is what we want to be at right now. And yeah, so using Aurora's Wind is a mini version of that. There's plenty other versions of that, like load zones. They tell Link he's in this position, he needs to get to this position via this scene transition. Blue warps, they say Link is currently here, he's used this blue warp, we need to get him from here to this specific cutscene in this location. Essentially, it's a series of Link is here, we want him here doing this. Aurora's Wind, that is something that is actually easily abused by the game. And the easiest way to do that is by using Aurora's Wind. Now, what I just did there is, Aurora's Wind typically is an item that can only be used in dungeons. However, by using, doing what's called like an item swap, we can have the properties of an item's usability swap between what you have in one position to the other item. Essentially, if I have Zelda's Ladder, which is usable anywhere, in X and Aurora's Wind on Y, by swapping the items from X to Y, Aurora's Wind will maintain the usability of whatever was on the other position, in this case Zelda's Ladder Y, which in this case being usable anywhere, for about 2 or 3 frames, and if you try to use the item in those frames, it works. It simply works. That is all that there is to say. And by doing that, we can set up Aurora's Wind anywhere. Now, this is important because the position I have set it up in has very specific, I guess, directions for the game, and it's very, very important. We will touch on that as soon as it's relevant, but for now, the next thing we're going to do is we are going to go to the Deku Tree because we need to get to, I said we're fighting Goma. Realistically, we need to get to a boss as fast as possible. In this case, Goma is simply the easiest and fastest boss to access. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Normally, to access Goma, you need to pretty much, like, clear the dungeon for the most part, like, fully. And that requires getting the slingshot, that requires getting to the top, going through the bottom, going through all the bottom sections and all that stuff. We don't need to do pretty much any of that. We're going to ignore the slingshot. Our real only objective is get to the top so we can drop down and then skip the rest of the dungeon. So that's what's going to happen here. You'll see I do a little setup shortly that allows me to skip the bottom part of the dungeon. It's possible in the 64 version with a different setup and maybe slightly different alignment, but it's the same idea. It's called B1 skip. Did I grab, hang on, I did, cool. I also grabbed Deku Nuts, because they are our alternative to using a slingshot, for fighting Goma. Also, sorry, I know I haven't been reading chat, it's because I'm very, very focused on this right now. Gonna get this alignment. Okay, that was almost perfect. Unfortunately, I moved a little bit in the air, which I'm not supposed to. But with that alignment, by doing this very specific positioning alignment, and moving our camera to the right spot here, we hold straight forward and roll. Link can just get up this wall easily. Like, there's very little issue. It's very, very awesome. Then, by pushing this block out a little bit, and using it to reach this torch, we can light the torch, burn this bit of web, and get straight down to Goma. There is, I will have some other things that I want to do at the end of this run. As I said, I want to showcase some fun little glitch things. I'm really upset that stream's not fixing itself. If anyone in chat hears this, can you just say so? Because I have a feeling no one's caught up right now. Because OBS is showing me that I am dropping pretty much all of my frames right now. So yeah, do let me know if any of this is actually coming through right now. Alright, we're gonna... You are hearing it? Okay, that's really weird. I don't know why OBS is saying that I'm having so many issues. That's strange. Alright, well, I'll keep rolling with it. But yeah. So, where we're at right now. Our goal is kill Goma. The reason for this is simply because Goma, and pretty much any boss, they spawn the blue warp points, which, as I said before, have, hang on, let me just try this fire real quick. Alright, cool, did not get that fast enough. Yeah, blue warp points have a very, very simple logic for the game, but it's very easy to abuse. Now, this is a trick that exists in quite a few manifestations, and there's so many ways to abuse it. It is called wrong warping, as I said. Essentially, the idea is, if the game has multiple places that it wants to send Link at once, it will freak out and send him to a different location. What I mean by this is, let's say, dying triggers a warp, such that it warps Link to the last dungeon entrance or area entrance or whatever. That's a specific warp. But if Link were to enter a load zone at the same time as dying, or quit the game at the same time as dying, or anything like that, the game will get confused and it will say, these are two locations that I need to send Link to. I have to figure out what the answer to sending him to two locations at once is. An example of this is a Blue Warp and Ferora's Wind triggering at the same time, and that's the one that we're going to abuse. Now, I'm going to do most of the explanation after this. I will be using save states because normally you can use the 3DS home menu function to buffer this trick. However, because I do not have a 3DS to use this on, and I'm currently bound to atypical software, I'm going to give this a couple of shots. I'm going to use save states to try and get it. This actually might be a first try. If it is, that's huge. Oh, it's not, but also I wasn't aligned properly anyway. Nah, okay, that's fine. Again, apologies for having to abuse save states. I understand this is not a true run, but I don't have the true hardware anyway, so that was a luxury I had to forego upon starting this run. This is unfortunate. Hang on, I got this, ready? The idea of what we're trying to do is we are trying to do an item swap with Ferora's Wind, like I did earlier, which is a few frame trick, but we have to trigger it at the perfect... I'm pressing the wrong button? No, I'm pressing the right button. We have to trigger it out of... we have to trigger it at a very precise frame, as well as it being a very frame perfect trick. So realistically, I'm hitting like... I have to hit like 3 frame perfect things in a row. Oh, that's not good. Hang on, let me go ahead. So the way that we do this up is we line up with the blue warp such that a side hop can trigger it. We move over so that the side hop will work, and then we have to side hop, open our item, do item swap, close our items, and do the item, the frame perfect item usage all within 3 frames of each other, basically. So basically it would be that, but I have to also trigger the blue warp, which is such a shame that I didn't right there, because that looked perfect. This could be good. Like that. So now the text box for Ferora's Wind pops up, the blue warp triggers, and if we use them at the same time, that's the run. That's it. That's time. To explain a little bit better what just happened at the end there. As I said, warp interactions really confuse with each other. Now, we specifically set up Aurora's Wind in Goron City because it just so happens that the blue warp, the dungeon blue warp from either Goma or King Dodongo, either one, when combined with the Aurora's Wind warp to Goron City from the boss chamber, tells the game a few things. It says, we need to go to this cutscene at this point in the game, right? It's trying to load the cutscene from finishing Goma's boss battle, so seeing Link to the Deku Tree and having that whole dialogue. It's trying to send him there at the same time as sending him to an ID equivalent to Goron City. The combination of these values just so happens to be the Ocarina of Time 3D credits. It is very funny, it is very silly. It does make this run a bit not counterintuitive, but rather anticlimactic, because the first boss fight in the game is the final boss fight, and it's just a warp to victory. Like, that's it, right? But it's interesting, I think. And my relationship with this run is kind of informed by the fact that this is how I learnt speedrunning as a kid. Which is, you know, I think it has a lot of nostalgia for me. It's not really a fantastic run. It's a bit of a joke, all things considered, because what happens in this run? It's a 40-minute run for me, and I would argue that 10 to 15 minutes of that is cutscenes or dialogue. It's kind of insane, right? Like, there's very little that happens. But I think some of the tricks are really cool, and it sets up for a very, very interesting glitch that is really easy to abuse and explore and have fun with. So on that note, that's exactly what I want to do right now. I'm gonna go ahead and reset the game. It will break on stream for a bit because it resets the sizes of the windows, so I'm gonna have to fix that. So bear with it just a moment. Let me try and fix everything. Actually, that top screen looks fine. If I'm correct. It's just this bottom screen which needs to... Yep, cool, alright. Did we get to see Adult Link? No, and unfortunately, in this little glitch showcase, you won't get to either. I want to do a little glitch showcase. Literally, whoever's next from me... Oh no, hang on. Ignore this. Pretend you don't know where Link is. He's not there. Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and save and quit on this save file. I have a little glitch showcase. So the save file that I just loaded into, and will load into again here, is one that I set up in advance. This save file has very little different from it compared to the one that we were just in. The only difference that I have in this save file is that I have bombs. How dare you be again? Sorry. Yeah, the only difference between this run or this save and the other one is that I have bombs this time around. So I went through Dodongo's Cavern, I opened Dodongo's Cavern, got bombs, opened the path to King Dodongo's head, but did not fight him. And I have gotten up to Goma, and I have placed, so you'll see here, if I can actually showcase this real quick. If I try to use Aurora's Wind here, you'll see that I've set it up somewhere. It is specifically set up in the... Is it Tommy's next? Okay, awesome. Yeah, it's specifically set up in the boss chamber where you fight Goma, coming from the dungeon into that boss chamber. And that's important because, again, that specific interaction with certain warps really confuses the game, and we are going to abuse them. I'm going to get Link to almost die. I'm going to take him to low health, and we're going to use this grotto here for something very interesting. Oh, also, remember how earlier I was talking about that movement glitch? I'll show you what it should have looked like. Maybe? Nah, okay, I can't. That's fine. But yeah, what we're doing right now is we're getting Link on very, very low HP because we want to basically get him killed only at the right timing. Now, similar to how I was before talking about getting Link... Shush, Navi. Similar to before, I was talking about getting Link to activate Aurora's Wind at the same time as the Blue Warp. We're going to do something like that here as well. Make sure we're in the right position. Let's give this a go. Our goal is to get Link to die was almost perfect, first try. We want to get Link to die while falling through that warp there. Now, there's a few reasons for it. But you'll see what it looks like. Okay, so that's him entering the warp, which is not what we want. We do not want Link to enter the warp. We want him to die. We do not want to see the game over screen. Oh, I keep almost getting it, but moving too far forward. Hang on, we got this here. No, I moved too far forward again. You'll see that sometimes what's happening is that Link is dying. Or he's like, you hear him getting hit and falling at the same time. But he's not immediately entering the load zone. Which is, I want him to not enter the load zone. That's the whole goal. And I keep almost getting it, but moving for too much longer after him getting hit. What is happening here? That's really weird. Hang on. Surely this is the one. Wow. So, okay, here you see he's dying before, so that means I was too late. Sometimes you'll see he's... That's what I wanted. So what's happening here? What's going on? Well, this is an instance where Link is dead. So it's trying to... We want him to die. We do. Link is dead. The game is trying to trigger the game over screen. But it's also going to have to do that at the same time as trying to trigger quitting the game. The result of these two, you might have just seen there for just a split moment, is that it sends Link to the Lakeside Laboratory. Why does it do this? I don't know. But here he is. In trying to load two different things at once, it has sent Link here. Now the game still kind of thinks that we're at the title screen, or at least it thinks that we're dead and trying to get to the title screen. So as you'll see, the bottom screen there is actually completely inactive. It won't let me do anything with it. I can't change items or anything, but I can use items. We have Ferora's Wind set on. Oh, and also in this state, any item is usable. So you can have any item set there and young Link can use them. In this state, we want to use Ferora's Wind. Now, in trying to send us to Goma's boss room at the same time as still trying to have us in the title screen, it takes us to Bongo Bongo's boss room. And this is where I think the magic of this trick really shines. The gist is that different Ferora's Wind locations, combined with different death conditions, combined with different load zones, will send Link in all sorts of directions. It becomes this insane maze. It's like a randomizer in a way. So yeah, it's like, it's really not sure where to send Link. So this is like the answer to its mess. We again want Link to die. That's actually the first time I've had him use that attack on me. I want him to use the attack where he grabs and drains Link of his life. Yeah, there we go. Cool. And now Link should die. Cool. He's dead. Now we're gonna go don't save and continue again. And the game is once again trying to send Link somewhere. In this case, the entrance of, what is it called? Shadow Temple? But it doesn't. Instead, it's gonna send me to the entrance of Dodongo's Cavern. It's weird, right? The thing is, I can keep doing this. If I left Dodongo's Cavern here, it would take me somewhere else, somewhere completely different to the exit, right? I specifically want to go this way for something. It is Ferora's Wind, genuinely. This is why I love that item so much, because this is my exposure to it as a child, is these insane glitches. It's so trippy, I love it. I am going to be very careful in this room because I don't want to die. Or rather, not that I don't want to die, I don't want to lose my shield. And there are fire keys in here that will try and burn my shield up. I wanted you to fight him. You technically can, but it is insane. I'm not trying that. No, I have a more exciting fight to hopefully reach instead. We're gonna go ahead and drop down here. The goal of what I'm trying to do right now is I'm trying to get to the boss room. Because of course, as I said, every entrance is gonna send Link somewhere wrong. And the boss room takes me somewhere very specific that I want to be right now. So we're gonna go ahead and set this up. Fun little fact actually about what I'm trying to do here. This box being placed on the button down here. Incentive for fight to fight Bongo's child. I don't think I can. I don't know how to. But yeah, putting the box on this button here in the way that it opens the door. Interestingly enough, if Link is pressing that button himself and he dies there, the game thinks that the box is there. So if you come back in, the box will be put there. I want to know where this warp goes to. You know what? We can mess around with warps for ages. It's really fun. This warp takes me to Goma's boss room. You can actually see back there, Goma's still alive. This is on a save file where I hadn't fought Goma. The only warp that we have option to right now is this door. So let's see where this takes us. Welcome to Ganon's castle. It just so happens that the entrances that we've been going to lead quite perfectly to Ganon's castle, and if we leave this one, it's going to try and take us outside Ganon's castle somewhere, and no matter what, because we haven't seen this cutscene yet, it will trigger the Ganondorf dying cutscene, the first Ganon fight having been finished. You can see that the camera is not set up for Child Link, so he's just out of frame a little bit there. But yeah, so we're outside Ganon's castle right now. That is where the game thinks it is right for us to be, which is really funny, but also has some kind of fun repercussions. Ganondorf, pitiful man. Blah, 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 blah. Music's gonna reset here. Now, what do I mean by interesting repercussions? Well, as I said, if we try to keep going through warps and stuff, the game's gonna keep trying to send us to places that it shouldn't be. So none of these warps are gonna work the way that they should. Also, fun fact, watch this, ready? The game thinks we're down there, so you can see Zelda down here. We're actually up here. Double Zelda! That's crazy. Nope, don't want the bomb. Now, as I said, items are usable no matter what right now still. So we can set up Aurora's Wind here, which is not typically possible. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. And there's a very important reason. What my goal is right now is to get the game back to being in a normal state, as in sending us to the right warps, progressing normally, while I can stay in this area. The thing is, if I die here, right? Kill Bongo, Bongo as child next, I want to see the warp. I don't actually think I can. With 3 hearts, I don't think I can. We're gonna go don't save and continue. Now, if I continue here, the game is going to accurately... Oh no, not accurately at all, actually. Oh no, that's not what I was supposed to do. I was supposed to save and quit. Okay, well, it sent me to a location that doesn't exist, so the game's freaked out a little bit right now. Oh, am I gonna have to do that all again? No! No! Oh man. You know what, actually, this is, I think, fine. I think this is fine. Give me a second. Let me test something. Let me test something. Because I think this save file here is set up perfectly for me anyway. So, let's just check. Oh, it's not. No. Wait, that's really weird then. Hang on. Let me cook real quick. Is this gonna work? No, that's interesting. Alright, we're gonna set everything up again. That's a shame. But you know what? You all get the idea, right? You see what I was trying to do there. To explain the rest of that trick, what was going to happen, and I might try and get it to work again shortly. This time I'll set save state so I don't mess up again. What I was trying to do is by setting up for Aurora's Wind and saving and quitting the game, it was going to send me to the next appropriate location, which is actually, because we've quit the game has now fixed its loading issues, which is the entrance of Ganon's castle, because that's the dungeon we were in. And by dying, that's where you should be sent. But we would have done that with Aurora's Wind set somewhere, and because the game is no longer in a funky state, if we used Aurora's Wind again, it would set us to the correct location, i.e. the top of Ganon's tower during the escape sequence. The gist of this is that you can fight Ganon. As a child, you can go and fight Ganon, and you can do it as early as having bombs and Aurora's Wind. I really can't get this. But yeah, I was really hoping I could do it so I could make the finale of the run actually properly climactic and cool and like, whoa, I do fight Ganon, you guys thought I didn't. But you know what? No, I'm gonna see if we can still do it. We'll see. I'm really bad at timing this right now, it seems. I'm going way early. That was almost perfect, but I kept holding movement for too long. I don't know why. I held backwards there for a second. That was interesting. That was an interesting decision on my part. I keep almost getting it. Hang on, that's not what I want. If you're wondering why I'm stood here and I do this walking thing, it's because this is the roughest approximation I have for timing this trick. Otherwise, I just have to use my own independent timing and it's not consistent. This is the most consistent I found. But yeah, all of this is to say that I think that Ocarina of Time 3D is really funny and really interesting, and that this wrong warp stuff is super, super funny. And I think it's awesome to play with, and I want people to know about it. I want people to see it because it's crazy, it's awesome, and it's the entire reason that the end of this run works. So yeah, I thought this would be like an interesting way to showcase that. Unfortunately, I can't actually get it again because I'm cringe. What? Oh, that was perfect! If I'd paused, I would have gotten it. Oh, that was also perfect. If I'd paused, I would have gotten it. Anyway, if I could get this again, we'll be back in business. This is perfect. Link is dead. If I hit don't save and quit, the game should... Yeah, there we go. It is very whack and cool. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and go don't save, continue. We're gonna set the save state. So we have until 6 o'clock right now. About 15 minutes. And I'm going to try and make this as fun as I can. We're gonna go ahead and try every possible warp zone that we haven't already. So, what happens if I leave here? Nah, game did not like that. It took me straight back to where I was before. So, let's go ahead and cast for us. We're return to the warp point. Bongo Bongo. I will try and fight him this time. I really don't know how to. Oh, no, you know what? I actually can't. Because I don't have a bow alternative. I don't have a slingshot. And so I don't think I can actually hit his hands at all. Unless Deku Nuts? No, because I can't grab Deku Nuts. Unless bombs work, which is the only thing I have. We'll see. Let's give it a shot. I do not think this is going to work, and I'm very sorry for that. Oh, I did not mean to set this up here. Alright, you know what? We have limited magic, so you know what? I kind of want to see where that takes me. Oh, bombs do work! This is going to be very difficult, though. I'm out of bombs. Chat, it's so over, no! Oh wait, you can just use sword. What? Okay, ready? Oh, I'm so goated. Alright, hang on, we're in business, Who needs a slingshot? Don't hurt me. Okay, I'm actually... Having magic there is very, very good for me. Because it means I can use Ferora's Wind more. Dying would not be good. Okay, was that soon enough? Does that work? Chat, we got this, we got this! No! Okay, we have to do another cycle. I'm so scared. This is the most afraid I've been. Yeah, I didn't know you could do some of this. I didn't either. Oh, we're so goated! See, we've also still got the damage of Kakiri's sword, so he's just gonna take so many more hits to kill. But we did it! Oh, we got it. That's how you beat Bongo Bongo as a child. Let's go! I'm gonna set another save state here because I do really want to know what happens in all the different circumstances that are possible here. So I've set for Aurora's Wind, so I want to see if returning for Aurora's Wind works. I want to see if the Blue Warp works, all that kind of stuff. Can I... I'll leave that for someone. So we're going to go ahead and do that. Alright, let's see where the Blue Warp happens. What happens? I have a feeling the game might just break. I want to know where this warp leads. Let's find out. It leads to... This is a physical space. Hang on. You can hear. I am here. I'm going to try and walk directly backwards. No. Okay, so I don't know where anything goes, but let's see what happens if I warp to Aurora's Wind. Is this gonna do anything? Did you see that? We were actually in the Chamber of Secrets. Oh no. Hang on. Oh no. Okay, so that's a death loop. But that was really interesting. So taking this blue warp takes us to the Chamber of Sages. Specifically, like the actual Chamber of Sages. That's so cool. Alright. I want to see that again. So I'm gonna, hang on. I'm gonna get ready to go ahead and... Oh, I didn't pause it soon enough. Alright, one last try. I want to get a proper look at that. That's so cool. I've never seen that before. See, that's what I mean. This is... I love this glitch. I love this game. I love this all. I love all of it. Alright. Ready? Let's see if I can get this. So, return to warp point. There we go. Look at that. This is a physical, actual version of the Chamber of Sages that Link can walk around. That's really neat. Alright. Well, now we know where that goes. Told you it'd be cool. It is cool. I appreciate it. Now that we know where that goes, I am going to... oh, I can't die anymore. Oh, yes, I can. I'm gonna die. What if you hit pause? The pause button does not work. In this current state, because the game thinks we're already at, like, the home menu, basically, the pause button's broken. But remember that this is all going to be different if I set Aurora's Wind up somewhere else as well. So that's worth considering. I'm going to see what's back this way. We're back in... I have a feeling I know what's happening. I think I know what's happening. I think every non-dungeon ID that it tries to send me to, which seems to be a lot of them, is sending me to a version of... Hang on, we're gonna check this out real quick. No! Where is this? This is Death Mountain, isn't it? That's interesting. Alright, what does Aurora's Wind send me? Okay, this is actually trying to keep sending me to the Shadow Temple. Cool. That's funny. Alright, well, that seems to be the end of that path, at the very least for now. But I hope you all thought that this was cool. I hope you found this interesting or fun or, yeah, a quirky little detour. I am going to keep messing around until Tommy pops in and says that he is ready to take over. So until then, my current goal is to beat Ganon. But I don't know if I'll make it there. We'll see. It could be fun. But yeah, this glitch is whack. I know. It's so good. I love it. Actually, you know what I haven't tested? What happens if I die now? What happens if I die in Dodongo's cavern now? Where does that send me? Because we haven't seen that interaction yet. Be ready in a few seconds. Make sure the seed working. All good, gamer. You have plenty of time. Yes, everyone who's here, by the way, who's watched or enjoyed this run, stick around because right after me is the GOAT himself, Tommy, doing a Twilight Princess randomizer. So definitely stick around to check that out because it's always fun. It's a great time. We're gonna go don't save and continue. Let's see where this takes us. No, it's taking us to normal locations now. No! I have a couple of other things I want to test, or also other things that I want to show, which I'll actually do now. Check this out. I'm streaming. I'm busy. I gotta do things. I want to show this cool thing out real quick. So as I said, if I put a block on this button, right, it stays on, right, which is good, which is cool. But what's really fun is that if the button is pressed while the game like sends Link somewhere else, it will assume that the button is being pressed by the block. So if I can, I messed up. What if I use Aurora's Wind right now? It takes me back to Shadow Temple in that infinite void fall. So it seems that some of the load zones are now working correctly, some of the warps working correctly, which is unfortunate. But that's okay. There's still a couple of other interesting interactions we can get out of this. In fact, I would actually be quite interested, and I'll talk to my Discord about it. So people who are from my chat right now, if you'd be interested in it, I'm actually quite invested in the idea of doing a stream where I just mess around with all of the little interactions that exist with this and finding the more interesting ones, see what happens. Because I think that's really cool. Because remember, the only reason I got sent to where I did originally is because I had Aurora's Wind set up in the Deku Tree place, the Deku Tree boss room. So if I set that up in different places, different things are going to start happening. So fun little thing about dying there. And you actually do this in a speedrun. In a speedrun of this game that uses, that goes to King Dodongo for any reason, dying there is actually optimal because if you die on that spot, as I said, the game assumes that the block must be pressing the switch, so it does it for you. It just does it for you. We're gonna go ahead and do this. Now, unfortunately, I 100% cannot fight Hang on a second. This is even more interesting. It doesn't think Aurora's Wind is set in... Oh, no, it's not. It's because... Wait, no. This is interesting. For some reason, it thinks that Aurora's Wind is set here still. What happens if I... Hang on. We're setting another save state. If I return to what point now? Nah, okay. So, the physical location for Aurora's Wind seems to be stuck in here. It seems to be stuck in this spot. But in actuality, the game is being forced to take it to, Shadow Temple? That's really weird. That's so trippy. That's what I'm saying. I love this stuff. It's so funky. It's so cool. Unfortunately, there is no way for me to beat Goma. That's it. I cannot beat Goma. I either would need Deku Nuts or Slingshot set to X or Y. You think you are ready? Awesome. I will pass things over to you in just a moment then, Tommy. Yeah, alright. Unfortunately, I'm gonna try and die in this room, so I do want to see what happens. If anything happens. And then we're gonna pass things over to Tommy. But let's save, continue. Does anything fun happen? That's interesting. That takes us to Gerudo Training Grounds. Alright, chat. I'm gonna leave it here. This leaves a world of opportunities to mess around with. So I think I'm gonna do this in my own time, maybe in my own stream. I really hope for the VOD that this works, but with my frame drops, I'm very confused as to why people are still seeing things normally. We'll see what happens. But nonetheless, I want to take a second to say thank you to everyone who watched. I am here for another several sessions throughout the week, so don't forget to keep tuning in. I will pass things off to Tommy. But before I do, quickly want to say, if you are able to, willing to, and interested in it, please consider donating to Child's Play, the charity that we are supporting throughout this event. Any contribution makes a difference. But that's me. Thank you, Sam. Thank you, Light. Thank you, Tommy. Thank you, Luna. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Tommy, whenever you're ready, you should be able to just hit start stream. But yeah, thanks all. Take care, and I will see you around. See you again.